Welcome back, guitar learners. So this is a walkthrough of Glorious Day. And so I know there are a ton of video tutorials out there, right? You can see all kinds of playthroughs. So this is just how I approach the song, because I'm sure there are at least 3 guitars playing this song, especially in that live version at Passion. And so I end up using my volume pedal a little bit as well, just trying to get all these parts in there. And so all through verse 1, right, it's pretty quiet, and then you come in with I think it's a D2, where you leave your middle finger off and you just do an up strum. And you can let that ring a very long time. Then into verse 2, that's where I start to come in on the word alive, and I swell in on that 7th fret of the B string. Up to that 10th fret. After that, from failures, tried to hide, it goes up from the 10th to the 12th, back to the 10th, and then down to the 7th, and into the G on the word tomb. And then I tend to swell out of that, and I swell in, because the band kind of comes out, and on name, that's where I swell in with that G. After I ran out of that grave, that's when the main part starts. It's the part that you hear in the chorus, and then in that first interlude after the chorus as well. You'll also hear it again at the end of the song. So it starts on the high E, 10th fret, 9th fret, then really quickly the B string, 12th fret, 10th fret, and then I can't remember. My fingers remember. So then it's on the G string, the 11th fret, down to the 9th fret, and then we go into a G, and I use an inverted version of G. So on every D chord in the chorus, I ran out of that grave, you play that little ditty. It happens twice. Then you go to the G string for darkness, into your glorious day. That's the D chord again, so you're back to that ditty. And then you're back to the G inverted chord on name. And then I ran out of that grave when it hits the B minor. That's when we go up into another set of notes, and it kind of hangs out on the same B and G notes, just kind of in a different order. So I go up from where I'm at on that G. And so it's the 10th fret of the B string, then the 9th fret of the G up to the 11th, and it's more of a hammer on there. Up to the B string again, then back to the 11th fret on the G. I'll get the accurate tab put up there, but that's the kind of finger positioning and finger motion that might be helpful. Out of the darkness, so you're back on that G inverted chord, into your glorious day, and that's again when you do the set of notes, and that one actually happens 4 times total, and you can alter what you're doing there. So on the first time I do it like normal, but on the second one I go back and walk it back up, and the third time through is normal, and the 4th time. So I walk it back up on the high E on the 2nd and the 4th time to go back into verse 3. And then a lot of the times you can play something more rhythmic, and you can chug along if you'd like to in verse 3. If I have another guitar playing with me, I tend to play something very similar to what I do in verse 2. And so I once again come back to that 7th fret up to the 10th. And I go up to the 12th as well. But instead of going back down to the 10th, I end up on the 15th fret. swell back out, and then I do the same thing. I come back in on the G, and then the chorus goes through that same progression again with the same notes and the same G inverted and the same B minor notes as well. However, on the interlude that goes into the bridge, that interlude is different. So coming out of that chorus into Your Glorious Day, there's a strong downbeat, usually by the drummer, and then you'll start on the offbeat, or the and rather, and it's on the high E and B strings, and it starts on the 15th fret of B up to the 17th, and then the 14th fret of the high E. And that's going to be done every odd time. The first time through the notes, the third, the fifth, and the seventh time through. But on the even times through those similar notes, instead of going from 15 to 17 to 14, you'll go 15, 17, and then I flatten. So I hit the 15th fret of the high E down to the 14th fret. And then somebody, whether it's you or another guitar player, needs to start chugging on that D. Because there's a little longer drawn out interlude. Sometimes our church skips that piece, mostly because I can't get back there fast enough if I'm the only guitarist. I've also seen people play it all the way up here using the low E. And I've seen it done lots of ways, trying to get the kind of off bouncing beat the way that the recording has it. A lot of times I just play it straight. So even when we hit the bridge, I tend to just be on that same downbeat. Yeah, so I would just play it straight with the bridge there. But partway through the bridge, when it starts in When I Was Broken, that's when I actually kick up extra reverb and extra delay, and I start playing through a progression of notes on the high E. And so it's super simple on the high E, the 14th to the 12th to the 10th, to the 12th to the 14th, back down, right? So it just kind of walks up and down, and then it's back into the progression of the chorus with that G chord, the B minor bouncing, and then at the end, right, if you do the live, you know, they do that break or that stop, 4 beats, then the drums come in, then the rest of the band comes in. It's the same. So at that point, I usually do all 4 of those the exact same way. I don't add the walk back up. I just do the 4 all in the same way. So that's the breakdown of how I play it. But of course, you can certainly do it differently, make it your own. Enjoy that song out there, and I'll see you in the next one.